Welcome back to the vlog, and welcome here to Moonbill yet again. We're heading back to WEWAC up to 15,000 feet, and hoping that the rainstorms around WEWAC area haven't built up too much. When I left, they're already probably at 12 to 13,000, so we'll see how they are when I get back. So let's go ahead and get started. It's an hour and 10-minute flight or so. Igniter's on, fuel pump on, make sure there's no dogs walking around. Always seems to be dogs walking around here. Reduce my fuel. Just shut down 10 minutes ago, so it's coming up a little bit quicker. But then once it gets up to like 500-600, then it starts slowing down. 672. Generator on, prop forward. Flaps are set, our fuel is on. Alternator is on. Auxiliary bus and our V2 tracker. We'll throw ahead all of our lights on as well. Go ahead and taxi up to the top, just so my fuel's not draining from one tank to the other.
TAWS system failure.
Oh, that's awesome. Doesn't normally do that. I think it's only had a TAWS actual failure like 2 times ever. We'll see if it doesn't come back up once we get going. But it's a VFR day. We don't need TAWS anyway, so it's just a train awareness. 5,300 pounds, so we're going to rotate at 54 and 63. 63 if we had to come back in, and 54 for rotate, because we're empty today. Moresby 65908, November Tango Echo Taxi. Flaps are set, trims are already set. For knots, 50 knots by those yellow cones up there on the left, we'll board there. On the runway, full reverse, heavy braking, cut off, pull up, and shut off. If we're going off, we'll go off straight ahead. After takeoff, we'll pitch for 85 knots, consider EPL, consider feather, left-hand turn to lower terrain. Otherwise, cut off, pull off, and shut off. 80 full flaps. Emergencies, masters, and crack my door. I guess we'll get SAR once we get up in the air. Ignition inlet and lights are done. We're in high idle. Like I said, we'll do that in a minute. 30 degrees, 3,000. 1420, so 1370 for 1420. Rotate 54. And we'll do a rolling start just because there's kind of rocks, I think. Here's over 50 and already airborne. We've got a nice headwind today of 6 knots, which is really nice. Pitch up for 73 knots, right at 740 on our ITT. And man, it really climbs when you're empty out here with a nice headwind. Alright, there's the trees, so I'm clear up there. Go ahead and start our turn back to WEWAC. Got about a 9,000 foot mountain right there that we need to worry about. But we'll just continue on nice where it's nice and blue and straight. So we're up and over top of the hill. We can pitch on over 85 knots. We'll go 20 degrees of flaps. Keep pitching over. We'll go 0 and bring our prop to 2,000 RPM. And then we'll just pitch for 99 to 100 knots for our best rate of climb all the way up to 15,000 feet. And I'm just watching my ITT as it's settling down. I haven't adjusted it at all, and our ITT is right at 720. Prop at 2,000 for our climb up to 15,000. Now we're out of the area, landing light off, engine inlet back to normal. Our igniters are turned off. And let's see if we can't get a hold of SAR now. Moresby 65908, November Tango Echo departure. Moresby 6538, November Tango Echo departure. Moresby 6538, November Tango Echo, reading is strength 0 to 1. Departed Moonbill time 4-1. Tracking 057 on climb 15,000. Estimating overhead Hauna 10. I'll assume you heard that. On my trip out here, came out here at 12,000, and that's kind of really where most of the clouds were. All the cumulus clouds were kind of built between, well, about 4,000 all the way up to around 14 or 15,000 feet, and kind of just scattered here and there. So we'll see how much they've filled in the past, well, basically hours since I've been out this way. Just passing through 12,000 now. Go ahead and throw my oxygen. This is not pressurized airplane, so you have to wear oxygen. Turn on the oxygen right down here. It's got 3 bars still, about 1,200 pounds. And then I will adjust my regulator right here to whatever altitude I'm going up to. So let me know that it's below 5 degrees Celsius. My pitot heat. Now chime is letting me know I'm 200 feet within 15,000. Go ahead and level off at 15,000. It looks like I have a nice straight shot all the way back to WEWAC. It does look like there might be some buildups. If you look out there, there is some pretty decent sized buildups all the way out there. And it says, I just got a text from them saying, WEWAC, dark gray clouds coming in from the mountainside. I still have visibility to the airport from base. So, it looks like it's probably potentially all of this weather in here is starting to move in and fill that in. We're leveled off here at 15,000 feet. I've got my ITT now below 700. Once we're up basically over 12,000 feet, we just limit ourselves up with an ITT of 700 rather than flying with our torque numbers. So just to give you a quick reference, because in case you haven't seen all my other videos, our torques up top, typically we'll fly around with 1250, unless we're over around 13,000, then we limit ourselves with our ITT of 700. I can bump that all the way up to 700 ITT. And then our prop, we just keep right at 2,000 RPM at all cruise. You can see my fuel's a little bit imbalanced out of here, my right tank. It always burns quicker on my right tank. I do not know why. Someone said potentially it might be vent lines having fuel, a little bit of fuel in them, and that messes it up. But our ramp at Kodiak is on a hill, so at all times, like we shut them off, but when we start, we turn it back on. So there's a potential possibility of fuel getting into those lines pretty easily. So it's kind of, yeah, an uphill battle with that one. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off my right fuel and then start up my timer here just as a reminder. I'm going to do 10 minutes. Then it will start flashing and let me know down here at alerts. So let me know when that 10 minutes is up. It doesn't chime, I wish it did. And then I'll turn my fuel back on. We are now 77 miles to run WEWAC. There's another airplane, Alpha November Sierra, that's coming in here in just shortly. He's just 30 miles out, just about 5 minutes out basically. So once he gets there, I'm going to ask him what the weather is there, because I just got a text just a minute ago saying that it's now raining in WEWAC. It is still clear out over top of the water, but the clouds are all low right around WEWAC and in the hills and mountains right there with the rain. So we'll see how it is in just a minute with Alpha November Sierra. I can shoot an approach in there if I want to. I don't think it's probably necessary today, even though there's a lot of clouds. What I could probably do is just drop down to my minimum safe, 3,100, basically just fly over to the airport and then over the water and then just drop down really fast. Although approach doesn't really add much time. Alpha November Sierra 126.7 November Tango Echo.
Tango Echo, November Sierra, go ahead.
Yeah, just wondering if you give me a quick appreciation of the weather for WEWAC as you're coming in.
No worries, mate. The weather is fine in WEWAC. We've got some low cloud to the southwest. Rain showers as well. And rain showers in the second, but it's visual over the coast. Shouldn't be any problems.
All right, many thanks. November Tango Echo.
All right, cheers. And Mosby 167 Alpha November Sierra, approaching second area. WEWAC, cancel salvage.
Alpha November Sierra, WEWAC salvage, terminated.
In that case, I already had the approach all set in here. I'm just going to go ahead and clear that out of here because we don't need that. But what I do need to do now is just set up my descent profile. So we want 1,000 feet. And we'll bring that just at 1,000 feet per minute. That's fine with me for today. Then it puts a top of descent mark right there. Maddie will let me know. So basically this whole mountain range right in here, I'll have to be 3,100 if I am IMC going through there. Because that's my minimum safe, just to stay safe over top of the mountains while going through clouds. Looking out towards Goroka area is actually looking better than I was expecting. They were forecasting it to be a lot more built up. I mean, it is still only 12:20 in the afternoon. I'll be jetting through that probably around like 1:30 time, so it still has another hour to really build up. We'll see how it is. Because there is so many buildups,
Vertical track.
I'm gonna go ahead and go down just a little bit earlier. I just changed it to 800 feet per minute. That way, some of the reason is because that way I can keep my speed a little bit more managed if I do have to go through those cumulus clouds. I'm not having my speed a lot higher, so I can always pull it way back and still do it at 1,000 feet. But for simplicity's sake, I'm just gonna keep it at 800 feet per minute, and that way it also gives me an opportunity to look to see if I might be able to get underneath of it rather than go through it. I might be able to find, oh, well, the cloud layer stops at around 3,000 feet. So we'll just see as we get closer up. So I'm going to turn my altitude right up here at the top all the way down to 1,000 feet. And if for some reason, actually let me just turn it up to 3,100 feet. And that way it'll chime at me. What I can do is also hit my vertical speed and altitude select on my autopilot. In case I'm distracted and not paying attention, basically, the autopilot will level me off at 3,100, and I can always turn it off and keep going down, but in case I'm not paying attention for some reason, and I am IMC.
Tango Echo, number Sierra, QNH 1006.
1006, thank you.
Right.
Switch to 1006 for that, 1006 on our secondary. If you guys would like to try this exact same flight on your home simulator, check out my Patreon page. I have a link to this specific one. Moonbill is on X-Plane. Moonbill is also, I believe, on Microsoft Flight Sim. So if you want to try recreating some of these flights that I'm doing, I post, I think I've got like close to 50 of them on my Patreon page for you guys, and I still have like another probably 30 or so kind of in the queue ready to go for you guys as well, with like charts that I use. Typically I put kind of what the weather is, links usually with a video, always links with a video, so that you can watch the video and then recreate it at home. So if you're interested in that kind of content, or if you're interested in kind of just seeing on the ground, a little more interaction with the communities that I fly for, or just what it looks like on the ground, I walk around their village or the airstrip or something, I also post that kind of content on Patreon. It has been like super crazy bright the past week. I'm super thankful that I have sunglasses. If you're looking for some, I've got some on my website now. These are actually really great quality. They're non-polarized, so it doesn't mess you up with any screens. They're glass lenses, so they're scratch resistant. They're metal frames. They're designed so that you can have your head over the head headphones with the sides, and they don't really push on your head in a weird way, so they're actually really comfortable. So if you're looking for some, check them out on my website. I'm now just passing through 11,000 and looking out towards Goroka. Looks like that's about the level, looks like more like 12 or 13, is the level of all of the clouds. More than likely I'll fly down the coast, take a look-see into the Sea Peak area and see kind of if it's continuing all the way up to Goroka like that. If it is, more than likely I'll fly all the way down to Madang and then cut up, because typically the weather on the ocean is really, really nice, and it's just all the mountains in here. I mean, there's been just tons of clouds all day long, so looks like there's a little bit of a gap kind of way over there, kind of the dark area. So I'm going to head to that. It looks like I'll be able to get through all of these buildups a little bit quicker, and wherever there's kind of like a V, it's usually not as bumpy and it's usually not as long. Go ahead and take off my oxygen now. And all stations, WEWAC, Kodiak, November Tango, Echo 30 miles to the southwest on the 240 radial, passing 900,000 on descent. Circuit 40 WEWAC. Actually, I think I'm just going to go ahead and take a right here, continue on my descent, follow all these clouds on down, see if I can get down to 3100, and see if I can't just go just directly up underneath of them. I'm seeing that works a little bit better. Just because it does look like all of that kind of darker area that I thought was a little bit less is actually a lot heavier rain, and the buildup is right there as opposed to over here, there's not really one. So we'll just kind of continue on down this way down to 3,100 feet, and then if we're still not visual, then we'll just cut through it. So go ahead and bring my power on back, start slowing down. Go ahead and start up our checklist. Selectors and brakes are our VREF. Here, 5,000 pounds, so 61 knots on landing. We can flip on our lights. We'll leave our pitot tubes on for the time being. So we do go through any rain, we'll throw on our bypass here just in a second as well, and we'll do the rest once we get a little bit closer. Well, doesn't look like it, so let's go ahead and cut on through. We're still 6,400, and it looks like we'll get to 3,100 feet just before the mountain, so I can actually slow my descent just a little bit. Throw our engine inlet bypass now, we're 140. Throw our seatbelt harness on lock. Lights and inlet are done. And I'm just going to slow on down just a little bit more.
Request your time out of Boomville.
Time out of Moonville was time 4-1 last hour. Estimating WEWAC 4-3, copy Alpha November Oscar. November Tango Echo.
And it is not up to Alpha is taxing WEWAC from a
Copy additional traffic, November Tango Echo.
All stations WEWAC 1267 Alpha Tango Alpha, ATR rolling runway 28, right down on departure for Medang. All stations WEWAC.
But when you do come into clouds like this that are pretty big and built up, what you can do is look to see where the highest buildup is, and if there's any kind of gaps, then that's where you're going to want to go, and it's going to be smoother. And it looks like I'm actually seeing maybe a tiny potential hole right here, so maybe. Right, this is going to level off at 3,100. We are just 17 miles out. All right. Make a little bit of a right turn just because I see that like the cloud goes right there, and I see a tiny sliver of blue right there. So I'm just going to make a right-hand turn just a little bit. It's actually more towards WEWAC anyways. Slow on down a little bit. Feet to go. There's breaking out. There we go. Bring my power back up. And try to figure out exactly where I want to go. Yeah, it's a good thing I didn't go over there because, yeah, really heavy rain over there. We're going to flip our pitot heats off. All stations WEWAC 126.7 November Tango Echo, 8 miles on the 240 radial, 2,200. We're tracking for our right base, runway 10 WEWAC. It's autopilot off. Check my brakes one more time. If we do need to go around, it's power up, 20 degrees of flaps. Pitch for 73 knots. Maneuvers required and reset IGT to 740. Up and harness. We'll do prop here in a second. Just looking at it, all the buildups and stormy clouds towards Goroka now, just from here. I might have to re-look at my weather forecast and see and look at the radar and see what it's actually looking like. See if I can get into the runway. Once I'm in there, I think I'll be all right. It's just a matter of getting in there with all of the rainstorms that are all along these mountain ranges. 4 miles out, we'll reduce our power, push our prop forward. We're going to torque back down to usually around 450 or so. That will give us a good amount of power, but also help us slow on down. Now we're below 138, we'll do 10 degrees of flaps. All stations WEWAC, November Tango Echo, right base 10 WEWAC. 20 degrees of flaps, prop and harness is done. By anyone.
November Tango Echo, WEWAC, what's terminated?
November Tango Echo. Checklist is complete. If you guys want one of these for your single pilot stuff, I should have these on my website as well. Really, really, really handy. If you're a single pilot, get you all your stuff that you need to know or get done before takeoff and landing. So this could potentially save your life. Feels like come in at 62. Let's just come in. We got 2 knots of headwind. We'll come in at 70 knots today. There's 70 knots. Put off to the left and the correct. Shoot for the 500-foot markers. That way I can stop a little bit sooner without using my brakes too much. Now float on by. Alright, well the fuel guy is just finishing up with another airplane, which is great because he'll see me coming in. It's really nice. Thanks so much, you guys, for watching my videos, giving them thumbs up, subscribing if you guys like my content, not subscribing if you don't like my content. This guy at the side.
Left down in runway 10, station WEWAC.
That way he knows to come get me, and there's not a plane coming in, so yay, I beat him, so now he'll come and get me fueled up first. Sometimes you wait here for like 45 minutes. Be sure to check out some of my other videos after this video. I've got tons of videos on this channel, so if you like this one, you'll probably like all the other ones as well, because they're all the same. Just different locations and different weather to deal with. Never really showed you guys exactly, but for shutdown what I do is I always flip off my air blowers first. Come over here, I turn off all my taxi, my landing, my strobes. Over here I leave my aux pump on until we have it all completely shut down. So I turn these off. Back over here, cut off. Below 40% on the NG, we do. Turn that off, really annoying thing. I'm watching my NG come down below 10%. I turn off my auxiliary fuel pump.
WEWAC, what's terminated?
Once that's off, now my IT's dropped down below 200 and dropped off. And I go ahead and flip off my other switches. And that's it. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day.